Section 4.1, Right Triangle Trigonometry and Applications, Part 1. Yes, we are suddenly jumping from Chapter 2 to Chapter 4. This is a temporary jump. What we're about to do in trig, the next big thing we're going to do is build the unit circle, which is the foundation for trigonometry. But in order to do that, we need to know some information about right triangles. So we're going to spend a little bit of time in section 4.1 and learn the information we need about right triangles, and then we will go back to chapter 2 and build the unit circle. Later in the semester, we will come back to section 4.1 and do the remainder of it. All right, we are going to start by talking about what a right triangle is and how we need to label it. Okay, so let's look right here under labeling a right triangle. First things first, what is a right triangle? A triangle in which one angle is a right angle, which is 90 degrees, is called a right triangle. Okay, so if you have a 90-degree angle in your triangle, okay, it is a right triangle. The remaining two angles, because remember there are three angles in a triangle, the remaining two angles in the right triangle are acute. And that means that the measure of each is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Okay, now those acute angles, an acute angle, it cannot be exactly 0 degrees and it cannot be exactly 90 degrees. It has to be, the angle has to be strictly between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Okay, in order to label our right triangle the way we need to, we are going to focus our attention on one of the two acute angles. Okay, whichever one we choose, we're going to call it theta. And relative to theta, names are given to the lengths of the sides as follows. Okay, so let's scroll down here and see. All right, so what I have here, if we scroll down, this is a little diagram of a right triangle. Okay, first thing I need you to realize is this little symbol right here in the triangle in the corner there, that little square, that indicates that that is a 90-degree angle that you're dealing with, okay, or that this is a right triangle. Okay, so if you look at the other two angles, okay, so you have an angle right here and you have an angle right here. Okay, both the blue angle and the green angle are acute. They are between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Okay, we have chosen one of these angles, these acute angles, to be theta. Okay, that's the blue angle here. Okay, all right, so let's start talking names. Okay, the first side that we're going to talk about is the opposite side. Okay, so if you read this little bullet point here with the first diamond, it says the side opposite, which is across from theta, is called the opposite side. Okay, so again, when we're dealing with the right triangle here, our focus is going to be on the angle theta. And so if you take your angle theta and you go straight across and you hit a side, okay, that is going to be the opposite side. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this in blue. Okay, so this is the opposite side of the triangle, okay, based on theta. Okay, then we're going to talk about the hypotenuse, and you've probably heard that before. Okay, the term hypotenuse is associated only with a right triangle. Okay, this is going to be the side across from the right angle. Okay, so if you look at your 90-degree angle and you go straight across, okay, and you hit a side, that is going to be the hypotenuse. Okay, so here's the 90-degree angle, you go straight across, okay, and you hit a side, that is going to be the hypotenuse. Okay, one thing to realize about the hypotenuse here, okay, and I've got it listed right here in this bullet point, it is the longest side in the triangle. Okay, so if you're dealing with a right triangle, the hypotenuse is going to be the longest side in the triangle. Okay, another thing to know, we typically label it C, designating that it has a length of C units. Okay, when you're dealing with a right triangle, you know there are three sides and we usually call them A, B, and C. C is reserved for the hypotenuse. Okay, all right, there's one more side. Okay, and if you look at the triangle, that's going to be the adjacent side, which I'll label green here, okay? If you read the third bullet point here, it says the non-hypotenuse side and the non-opposite side, so the side that's left, that is the adjacent side, okay? And another way to think of it, if you're looking at theta, it's the side that's adjacent to, which means next to theta. Okay, so that's the one I've got in green. So here's theta. Okay, here's the angle theta. Look where my cursor is. And it's not the side across, or sorry, it's not the side across, which is the opposite side. It's not the hypotenuse. It's the side that's next to it. Okay, so it's going to be this green side. Okay, all right, so those are the three sides of a right triangle. Okay, you're going to pick one of the acute angles and call it theta. Okay, and then you're going to identify the side across from theta, which is the opposite side. You're going to identify the hypotenuse, which is the longest side of the triangle and the side opposite the 90-degree angle. Okay, and then the remaining side is the side that's next to theta, and that is the adjacent side. It is very important that you be able to identify these three sides of a right triangle.